Okay, so we've talked about demand and supply in the competitive market equilibrium where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. And we know that demand depends on things like number of buyers and income and taste and preferences. We know that supply depends on things like input prices, number of sellers, and technology. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that economic theory and apply it to a real business. So I'm here at Neuse River Brewing Company, and we're going to talk to some of the brewers and find out what they say about supply and demand. So we're here with David Powell. He's one of the owners and brewers at Neuse River Brewing Company, and they've been in business for about a year. And I have asked him to answer a couple of questions for us. All right, so David, do you feel like the price of beer is set for you, or how much control do you think you have over that?
In my experience, I feel there is a market that already has a set value according to each individual type of beer. But the more ingredients and the longer it sits in, say, a cask, or the more real estate it's going to take up inside of your keg cooler is going to play a role into how much you're going to actually charge. And then also, if the beer is a limited release, that's usually a very good way to usually drive the price up of a beer, because the less amount of beer that you have of a particular product, the more that you can have value for that beer.
Right. So it sounds like you do have some control, and certainly differentiation, having different beers and changing your stock is helpful to you in trying to increase your profit.
The way the market's working right now, it seems the more variety you have, the more likely you're going to sell more of your beer. There are staples that we have that I feel will always sell more than any other beer, just because of the ease of drinking, or the season that you're selling it. So
yeah,
that also plays a large role.
I drink a lot of the River Keeper's Wit.
That is definitely our most popular beer that we have here.
All right, so have you noticed a change in the price of the ingredients since you've been in business, or have they kept pretty constant?
There has been a little bit of a rise, and that's also dependent on which hop or grain that you're looking for. Obviously the demand is going to be correlated with the supply. If there's a lot more grain, then that's going to go down. But since there are a lot more craft breweries opening up that are in need of the same ingredients, then obviously the prices have been rising.
Yeah. So besides the price of the ingredients, what helps you set your price? In other words, if you know that you want a $5 beer, what else kind of goes into how much beer you want to sell at that price? You mentioned real estate, and I know, and that's obviously.
Oh yeah, we have limited room back in our keg cooler, so yeah, like if it's a beer that's selling really fast, then obviously it's not going to take up that real estate very long. If it's a beer that can age for a while and actually would end up tasting better over time, or if it sits in, say, one of our barrels, then obviously that's going to be taken into consideration of how we're going to set the price for that beer. So usually like our bourbon barrel aged Bobby Broom, that sat for about 5 months in those whiskey barrels and bourbon barrels. So we priced that accordingly. That's $7 beer, against like the $5 River Keeper's Wit, which sells, like 10 times as fast.
Especially right now.
Especially in this nice hot summer.
So do you think that the people who are drinking your beer know why the prices are different?
It depends on the beer drinker. There are a lot of, I guess some people they call them beer snobs, or the beer nerds, and those are the kind of guys that they'll appreciate paying a little bit more for the beer that is more taken care of and has a lot more that goes into it. So like the hops, like a really hoppy IPA, like an Imperial IPA, that's going to have 3 times as much hops as, say, a normal IPA or a pale ale. So
right.
That definitely goes into our pricing for what the beer is.
Okay, great. That's all the questions I have, so that was perfect.